Okay guys, so do Etsy stats like this look familiar to you? If they do, then I promise you that there are reasons for it. And in today's video, I'm gonna go through all of the reasons why you may be really struggling to get your listings seen on Etsy and get the traffic and sales that you deserve to be getting. So if you're new here, my name's Alfie. I've made multiple businesses on Etsy. I've made some pretty decent revenue. I've learned a lot along the journey. And now I'm just sharing everything I know with you guys. So I'm gonna give you a spoiler. SEO is definitely gonna be on the list, right? You probably knew it was gonna be. It's very important for getting your product seen. However, before we go straight to that obvious one, I'm gonna start with the first reason why your products are probably pretty invisible on Etsy. And this is because, is there actually the demand for them in the first place? I always recommend, before you sell anything at all, do your product research. So even look on other websites like Amazon, Google, even like TikTok Shop, these sorts of places. If there's no demand for the products on these other external places, and especially if you look on Etsy itself and there's no demand for what you're trying to sell, this could be a key indicator that, maybe that niche that you think is like really niche down and really unique, maybe it's just because there's not actually that demand for it that nobody's tried to sell it before. And a really quick way to do this, if you want to be extra sure before you start selling anything on Etsy, you need to know the demand. Just use an app like Everbee. You can literally just type in products and you can see exactly how much they're making, see the sales revenues. Any of these apps, just check, do your product research. If there's no demand, this is a major reason why your product might just be invisible and it'll make it really hard for you right from the start. So now let's move on to the obvious one, of course, SEO. If you've got terrible SEO, or maybe you don't quite know how to do your SEO, you're lacking behind the competition, then yeah, this, let's be honest, could be a key reason why your products look invisible on Etsy. So I want to give you a super quick SEO lesson here, right? There's 3 main types of keywords that I recommend you focus on using on your product listings, right? The first one is going to be your anchor keywords. So this is going to describe exactly what the product is. Then you're going to have your descriptive keywords. So this is going to describe those little more unique details about the product. And then third category, you're going to have gifting keywords. So around about 71% of buyers on Etsy are shopping for gifts. So I promise you, this is a massive category of keywords that we have to be hitting in our SEO. So when writing out your product keywords in your product titles, I want you to start focusing on doing them exactly like this. Use your descriptive and anchor keywords first, right at the start, and then you can use your gifting keywords last. So I'm gonna throw up some examples on screen while I'm talking here. This is what they should look like, and you can just continuously use different combinations of this in your titles and also in your Etsy tags, by the way. So again, this is going to be really important for your SEO. But I promise you, if you do these things and start structuring your SEO like this, and actually use keywords that are in demand and relevant to what people are searching for, then your items are going to become literally less invisible overnight. And now, I know what you're thinking, yeah, okay, that's fine, but the problem is, what keywords am I actually supposed to be using? Like, what keywords are popular? So this is always where I just recommend to use Etsy SEO research apps, because I think they save you so much time. I think they're so valuable. The one that I personally always use, you've seen them on my channel before, I always use Everbee. That's great because you can search for any sort of keyword. Not only will it then show you other similar relevant keywords that you can use for your product, but it'll also show you the search volumes to the competitions of those keywords you're looking at using. And not only that, if you want a super cheap, quick way to do it, you can search for other best-selling listings in your product niche. You can literally go into them because you know they're working and selling well. Scroll down, you can see the exact keywords that the products are using, and then in one click of a button, you can copy them all and paste them directly into your own listing and use them as your own keywords and tags. So if you want my recommendation for one of these apps, of course, use whatever one you want. I recommend Everbee. They've kindly sponsored my channel, so if you wanted to check them out, I'll leave a link in the video description. Again, completely up to you, but I strongly recommend to use a research app because I do think they are important. Next reason why your products might be completely invisible on Etsy is because you're not selecting the attributes on your products. So customers can go in and they can tick certain attributes in the Etsy search to actually find products that exactly match up to what they're looking for. So you'll see when you're creating your product listings, you'll have attribute options here that will match up to these options the customer has to search for. So it's very simple, guys. If you're not putting as much information as you possibly can in these attribute sections in your listings, Etsy, you're gonna find it harder to categorize your products when customers search for these specific terms. So yeah, put in as much information in your product listings as you possibly can. I promise you it's gonna help. Moving on to the next reason now, and this is maybe because you have an inactive shop. So active shops always perform better on Etsy than your inactive shops. So what do I mean by this? Right, an active shop is gonna be where you're putting new listings daily or every other day, but certainly as frequently as you possibly can. It's gonna be when you're logging on continuously, you're responding to customer messages frequently, and you're just engaging in the Etsy community and the Etsy world as frequently as possible. An inactive shop, of course, if you're not doing any of these things, why would Etsy want to promote your items ahead of a really active shop? So they just won't. So yeah, get more active on your shop. Again, it's gonna help you loads. And another thing that's gonna massively affect your visibility of product on Etsy is of course gonna be the likelihood that a customer is actually gonna purchase that product on the platform. So think of it from Etsy's point of view as well, guys, right? Etsy is a platform. They literally just want customers to go onto Etsy, to buy a product, to leave happy, be happy enough with their product that they then return to Etsy, spend more money on the platform and buy again. That's literally all Etsy want. It's the bread and butter of the business. So with this in mind, of course, Etsy are gonna promote items that have a higher chance and a higher likelihood of being purchased by the customer over items that have a lower likelihood of being purchased. So just go onto your Etsy store, look at your stats, go for say maybe the past few months or certainly the last quarter, and look at the conversion rate of your store. So if you've got a store conversion rate which is under 4%, then in my mind, certainly from the shops that I've worked with before as well and the shops I've reviewed, this tends to be what I would call a lower converting shop. And of course the goal then is always gonna be to get your shop's conversion rate above 4%. So when I do coaching and I work with you guys one-on-one, this is one of the key things we look at improving right from the start, getting that conversion rate up. If you want the best tips to do exactly this and so that you can see conversion rates just like these here, then I recommend you guys to check out this video because I've made a whole video talking about exactly this. And as you know, guys, if you want to work together, link's always in the video description to book a free call. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Take the best of care, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.